Alright, my name is Stephen Meyer, and I am the designated public hearing officer in connection with this morning's public hearing being conducted by the County of Monroe Industrial Development Agency, which we will refer to as the IDA, in accordance with the New York Eminent Domain Procedure Law, which we will refer to as the EDPL. We are here this morning on the 13th day of May, 2025, at 11 a.m. in the Business Center at City Place, located at 50 West Main Street in the city of Rochester, to open and conduct a public hearing concerning the proposed acquisition by the IDA of certain real property rights and/or interests in connection with the proposed public project, all as outlined during this public hearing. As used in today's hearing, the terms acquisition, real property, and public project have the meanings ascribed to those terms in the EDPL, and public project may be referred to in this hearing as the project, which will be defined later in this hearing. This public hearing is being conducted pursuant to the EDPL in order to inform the public and to review the public use to be served by the project and the impact on the environment and residents of the locality near the project. In accordance with the EDPL, notice of this public hearing was duly published in the Daily Record on April 28th, 29th, and 30th, and May 1st and 2nd of 2025, as required by the EDPL. Such notice is hereby submitted and entered into the record of this public hearing as Exhibit A. Any person in attendance at this public hearing will be given a reasonable opportunity to present oral or written statements and to submit other documents concerning the project. As used in today's hearing, the term person has the meaning ascribed to such term in the EDPL. If you would like an opportunity to speak at this public hearing or to submit a written statement or other documents, please sign in at the sign-in table if you have not done so already. Names will be called in the order in which they are signed in. As provided in the notice of public hearing, any person unable to attend this public hearing or any person in attendance at this public hearing may submit to the IDA prior to the end of this public hearing any written statements or other related documents regarding the project. Such written statements and/or other documents will become part of the public hearing record. Comments received after the close of the public hearing will not be considered. I would like to inform persons in attendance that this public hearing is not a question and answer session. It is instead an opportunity for you to present your views to the IDA so that they may be considered by the IDA when it makes its determinations and findings as required by the EDPL. A record of this public hearing is being made, including written statements submitted at or prior to this public hearing. When available, copies of such record will be available to the public for examination without cost during normal business hours here at the IDA's office and at the Monroe County Clerk's office. Copies of such record will be reproduced upon written request and payment of the cost thereof. Written requests for such record, to the extent directed to the IDA, should be addressed to the County of Monroe Industrial Development Agency, Executive Director, City Place, 50 West Main Street, Suite 1150, Rochester, New York, 14614. Copies of a map outlining the approximate location of the project site and description of the proposed interests subject to condemnation are available at the sign-in table. The terms project site and property interests will be defined later in this hearing. I will now allow a representative of the IDA to continue with the public hearing.
Good morning. My name is Robin Finnerty, and I'm the Deputy Director of the IDA. The IDA received a request from an existing applicant, 1733 Ridge Road, LLC, for the IDA's assistance with respect to the acquisition of the proposed interest in connection with the project. The term proposed interest will be defined later in this hearing. During this hearing, there will be references to the term company, and we will use that term to collectively refer to the following three affiliated entities, namely 1733 Ridge Road, LLC as the landowner of the former mall facility, which term will be defined later in this hearing. Ridge Tyam, LLC as the landowner of two of the out parcels located at 1665 East Ridge Road and at 1765 East Ridge Road, which term will be defined later in this hearing, and Skyview Phase 1 LLC as the landowner of one of the out parcels located at 1733 East Ridge Road, and in each case their respective successors, assigns, and or designees. The company is the owner of certain real property located in the town of Arundecoit, New York, that in part generally comprise A, the site of the former regional and now vacant and deteriorating shopping center and adjoining and or nearby parking fields and related improvements, collectively the former mall facility, formerly known as the Medley Center and prior thereto the Arundecoit Mall, and presently commonly referred to as the Skyview Center or Skyview on the Ridge. Certain vacant out parcels, C, the situs of a community center, and D, the situs of an apartment complex, which are further described as follows. Approximately 34.42 acres located at 400 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-85.2, 350 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable as tax ID number 092.05-1-85.101, 250 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-85.102, 300 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-85.104, Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-85.106, and upon which is located in the former mall facility. Approximately 0.50 acres located at 1665 Each Ridge Road, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-9, approximately 0.69 acres located at 1765 East Ridge Road, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-20.12, and approximately 2.36 acres located at 1733 East Ridge Road, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-20.11, and each of which are vacant commercial out parcels adjacent to and or near Skyview on the Ridge roadway entrances located to the north of the former mall facility. The parcels referenced above are referred to as out parcel 1, out parcel 2, and out parcel 3 respectively, and are collectively referred to during this hearing as the out parcels. Approximately 3.6 acres located at 450 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-85.103, upon which is located, among other things, the Arundecoit Community Center adjoining the former mall facility, collectively the Community Center parcel, and approximately 5.18 acres located at 200 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-86.1, upon which is located, among other things, an affordable senior housing community known as the Skyview Park Apartments adjoining the former mall facility, collectively the apartment parcel. During this hearing, the former mall facility, the out parcels, the community center parcel, and the apartment parcel are collectively referred to as the project site, which the project relates to. Target Corporation or Target owns a certain parcel of land near to and west of the project site, comprising approximately 8.99 acres and located at 500 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-78.111, upon which is located, among other things, a Target department store, collectively the Target parcel. One Medley Center LLC, or One Medley, owns a certain parcel of land adjoining the western end of the former mall facility, which was the situs of the former Macy's department store and comprising approximately 10.09 acres and located at 470 Skyview Center Parkway, identifiable by tax ID number 092.05-1-88.11, upon which is located, among other things, the Rochester Regional Health's Isabella Graham Hart School of Practical Nursing, collectively the nursing school parcel. In this hearing, Target and or One Medley or any of their respective successors and or assigns are collectively referred to as the designated interest holders. Although the company has successfully redeveloped the community center parcel and the apartment parcel, and One Medley has successfully redeveloped the nursing school parcel, tenancy at the former mall facility has declined over time and is now vacant, and redevelopment there is vital for the social and economic welfare of the community and its residents. Filling this large physical and undesirable empty void in the very heart and center of the former Medley Center has long been an objective of the IDA, Monroe County, the town of Arundequite, and other community stakeholders. In light of the current economic climate, both generally and in the retail world, the IDA is supportive of the company's vision to transform the vacant and/or underutilized portions of the project site into a multi-purpose mixed-use facility. However, as we will hear later in this hearing from the company's representative, more is needed as existing agreements benefiting Target and One Medley contain outdated restrictions, limiting what can be done at the project site and effectively preclude any viable redevelopment that deviates from a traditional retail mall, which in the current market environment is not desirable or suitable. It should be noted that the redevelopment of the former mall facility will likely also benefit the Target parcel and the nursing school parcel, as the area in general will be more attractive and there will be increased visitors resulting in additional economic activity, all of which is more desirable than the current state of dormancy at the former mall facility. On March 25, 2025, the IDA, upon consideration of a request from the company, duly authorized providing assistance to the company with a certain project, collectively the project, consisting of the commencement of the process under the EDPL necessary for the acquisition by the IDA of the proposed interests of the designated interest holders, all as may be needed in order to facilitate and in connection with the redevelopment. These terms will be defined shortly. The proposed interests collectively consist of approximately all or a certain portion of certain real property rights and/or interests of the designated interest holders, including without limitation, A, specific rights and/or interests in real property of the designated interest holders identified by the company in Exhibit D, which we will be referred to shortly, under their respective leases, instruments, agreements, or declarations, including without limitation, any and all operating covenant agreements or similar agreements, reciprocal easement agreements or similar agreements, whether or not recorded, collectively the primary contractual rights, and B, any and all other rights, rights of approval, protected area rights, excluded area rights, entrance rights, critical access way rights, interest, privileges, or easements of any and all such designated interest holders under any and all leases, instruments, agreements, or declarations, including, without limitation, any and all operating covenant agreements or similar agreements, reciprocal easement agreements or similar agreements, whether or not recorded, that could inhibit redevelopment of the project site. The redevelopment collectively consists of the productive reuse, redevelopment, and overall enhancement, as the case may be, by the company of the vacant and/or underutilized portions of the project site, and any and all related parking realignments, parking improvements, infrastructure, or site improvements or modifications necessary, therefore, at the project site, contemporaneously or in stages pursuant to the EDPL, to redevelop and enhance, as the case may be, the project site for use as a multi-purpose, mixed-use facility to attract and accommodate new and diverse tenants and/or end users to the project site, and to enhance and/or complement the community center parcel, the apartment parcel, and the out parcels, and the surrounding area and existing businesses, including but not limited to those at the Target parcel and the nursing school parcel, all to further the public purpose of advancing the general prosperity and economic and social welfare of the residents of Monroe County by returning the vacant and/or underutilized portions of the project site to productive use by, among other things, attracting new and/or expanded business or other commercial activity, thereby promoting economic revitalization, employment, less development on previously undisturbed locations, increasing the property tax base and sales tax revenues within the town of Arundequite and Monroe County, and alleviating the negative impacts associated with large, vacant, underutilized, and deteriorating buildings within Monroe County, and including but not limited to, as appropriate, may include but not limited to, complementing and/or advancing any public purpose contemplated by the Town of Arundequite Comprehensive Master Plan, update September 2014, which is incorporated into this hearing record by reference and a citation to which is contained in Exhibit B, collectively the redevelopment. Do you have that?
It's already part of it.
Oh, okay. There are no alternate locations in connection with the project. The proposed project is also consistent with previous positive public benefit determinations made by the IDA in connection with its approval of financial assistance, as such quoted term is defined in Title I of Article 18A of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York as amended, to the company which are incorporated into this hearing record by reference. A map outlining the approximate location of the project site and description of the proposed interest is available for viewing in this room, and copies are available for you to take at the sign-in table. Such map and description are hereby submitted and entered into the record of this public hearing as Exhibit C and Exhibit D, respectively. The IDA will conduct an environmental review pursuant to and in accordance with Article 8 of the New York Environmental Conservation Law and associated regulations promulgated thereunder, known hereafter as SEEKR, with respect to the project. It is contemplated that within 90 days of the conclusion of this public hearing, including the comment period thereafter, the IDA will make and publish its determination and findings in accordance with the EDPL and SEEKR as applicable regarding the proposed acquisition of the proposed interest in connection with the project. The IDA may consider as part of its reviews under EDPL and SEEKR any materials entered in or incorporated by reference into the record today, the statements made today, and any other information or materials existing in the public domain as appropriate, including but not limited to the aforementioned comprehensive plan, together with any documents upon which they are based. This concludes my statements on behalf of the IDA. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you, Robin. At this time, I would like to provide an opportunity to anyone who would like to present an oral or written statement and/or submit other documents concerning the project. The public is advised that a reasonable amount of time will be allowed for comments to be made relevant to the project. I will start by calling the first person on the sign-in sheet requesting to speak and/or submit written comments. Please state your name and address clearly for the stenographer, and if you are here representing an organization, please identify same. The first person is Lauren Edernetto. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I am Lauren Edernetto, and I'm speaking here today on behalf of 1733 Ridge Road LLC and its affiliates, which were earlier collectively defined as the company. I'm going to read the company's statement, and a copy of this statement is going to be submitted as part of the hearing record as well. Opened in 1990, the former Irondequoit Mall, now the Skyview on the Ridge, was a two-story suburban mall, initially featuring 110 stores and several outbuildings. The mall is conveniently accessible. The mall is located in Irondequoit, New York, centrally located within Monroe County, and conveniently accessible from the Route 104 Keeler Street Expressway. The mall originally housed several anchor department stores, including Sears, JCPenney's, Sibley's, and McCurdy's. While it was initially successful, occupancy fell to 72% by 2001. In 2005, the mall was sold to Burson Properties LLC, who aimed to redevelop and rebrand the property as the Medley Center. However, redevelopment efforts stalled and the mall closed, leaving only a few out parcels, such as Target, still operating. It wasn't until 2016 when Angelo Ingrassia, through his company, 1733 Ridge Road LLC, purchased the majority of the mall that redevelopment resumed. Since then, the company has rebranded the property as Skyview on the Ridge, and redevelopment has progressed, including the opening of the community center and residential housing. Unfortunately, the company has faced setbacks in completing the mall's redevelopment due to the existence of outdated declarations of reciprocal easements and agreements. These agreements, often titled reciprocal easement agreements or REAs, limit the property to a traditional retail mall format and include specific operating requirements. They also restrict how the property can be used and impose limitations on building height, size, lighting, operation, maintenance, and parking. Additionally, changes to the mall require approval from the remaining anchor parcel owners who operate independently from the mall. As a result, these restrictions have made it difficult for the company to secure new leases and have limited the progress of redevelopment. This problem is not new, and as early as September of 2017, Crane's Chicago Business published an article entitled, "As Mall Landlords Try to Upgrade, Department Stores Cling to Power," and stated plainly that reciprocal easement agreements give anchored stores the final say over how a property can be used, and this prevents developers from installing businesses such as gyms, bowling alleys, and medical services, and goes further to state that these are exactly the types of tenants landlords are pursuing to fill space left by shuttered stores, and they offer customers experiences they can't find online. the International Council of Shopping Centers agreed, publishing an article in September of 2022 entitled, "When Anchors Block Mall Redos," stating simply that the owner of a mall cannot make real changes without gaining access to or control of the REAs for the property. I note that the town of Arundecoit's comprehensive master plan, which was updated in 2014, identified redevelopment of the former mall facility as a critical priority for the town, which is demonstrated in part by the town's adoption of revised zoning for the former mall site in 2009 for the specific purpose of promoting creative redevelopment plans. Here, there has already been progress along these lines. We already have a community center, a nursing school, and an apartment complex at the site, but there remains a large empty void in the middle of the site that must be repurposed and redeveloped to complete the project. It is clear that attracting diverse tenants and completing the redevelopment of the former mall facility will not only create jobs for the community, but also increase property values in Arundecoit, New York, as well as generate sales tax revenue. By allowing the condemnation of these reciprocal easement agreements and other interests with court-approved just compensation for the affected parties, the company will be able to fulfill its mission of redeveloping this valuable community asset to its highest and best use. That concludes my remarks, and I'll deliver a written copy of the remarks to the court reporter for the hearing.
That is the last person on my list. Is there anyone else that would like the opportunity to present an oral or written statement and or submit other documents concerning the project? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none. Thank you all for your comments. It is now 11:22 and